Hey, welcome everybody.
Hey.
Hello, Do You Convert Live? It's our December edition. We're wrapping up 2020. I've got Jen Barkin on the line, who
Woo.
just in the nick of time, her bandwidth just caught up and magically streamed her through in crystal clarity through the
Okay.
interweb. We are so happy that you're here.
Oh
If you
man.
are here joining us, say hello, smash the wave button, the thumbs up, and we're gonna have some questions here in
If
just a
if
second.
anybody else is having bandwidth issues, either personally or professionally, comment here
That's
below.
right. Comment here. Well, Jen Barkin, my co-host,
Yeah.
always good to see you. It's been a while. We've been deep diving with so many of
Oh
our
man.
clients and customers. It's been a wild ride, 2020, wouldn't you say?
Oh man. I don't even. I just. I don't know. Like I can't express how I feel about it. I kind of fluctuate back and forth. I mean,
Yeah.
this time of year, it's just kind of weird, like when you start reflecting on things. So it's definitely been crazy. Hey, Jesselyn, good to see you guys. Yeah, if you're hopping on, we need to know that you're here. So make sure you say hello and announce yourself, please, so we know.
Yeah, I think 2020 brought us a lot of unexpected things, as everybody knows. We don't have to belabor the point, but there were some exciting things that happened in the world of online
Yeah.
sales. I think that's worth noting. I love that concept of doing a little success roundup, a victory
Yeah.
lap, whatever you want to call it, of all the great things that have happened. So you'll see the question running along the stream here, and we want to hear from you. What was the biggest success for your program in 2020? Let us hear from you. Jen, what are some things that you saw out there? I've got a couple that I've seen.
Oh man. Well, I'm gonna pick the low hanging fruit and say that it was probably the most financially rewarding year for online sales specialists
Yes.
than I've ever seen. I mean, just amazing.
Yeah, if you're in sales and home building, holy cow, it's a good opportunity. We always say, save that money. Don't go out and buy the BMW just yet. But yeah, is a great
Yeah,
opportunity for increased
yeah,
conversions. Increased conversions usually means a little bit of an increased paycheck. So hopefully you'll be able to support yourself, those around you, give, and do some great
yeah.
things with all that extra income. That's good. You know, the other thing that we saw too was just a real spotlight on
Oh,
online sales in general. I think companies knew it was important, but
right.
when this hit, everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so thankful that we had the role of online
Right.
sales in place." Whew, thank goodness. How many of you guys felt that way?
I was talking with somebody earlier today that said, she's been in the position for a couple of years now. And, I really have always struggled with the fact that I wasn't sure that people really understood exactly what it is that I do. She said, but really this year has been a changer. It's really kind of turned the spotlight, like you were saying, Mike. And now it's really becoming even more apparent how important the online sales position is in builders organizations. And just remember, you guys are, I say this all the time, but I make sure it really sinks in. You are influencers in your organization. You have the ability to really affect the bottom line and make things happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Jesselyn says great results and keeping more appointments. That's a success for her. Vanessa, best year ever. All
Yeah.
the walk-in traffic became online traffic. Ain't that the truth? Right. So yeah,
Yeah.
share
Thank
your
you
success,
for COVID.
big success for you and your program in 2020. Um, the other thing that we saw a little bit too, I think our online sales specialists who love lists and love organization and love everything in its place got their comfort zones kind of knocked about a little bit. What do you think?
Mm, yeah, that's an understatement. Yeah, you guys, chat. Yes, if you had to figure some things out differently. But what it did was it caused you to grow.
Yeah.
And, you know, am I choppy? I feel like I'm
you're choppy. Change it to 420, change it to the smaller speed, and let's see if that works.
All right.
So like Jen was saying, that growth, whether you're using new tools, whether it's changing to virtual, whether it's changing to private, whether it's changing to priority interest lists, all of those things, man, that is something that's just, nobody was expecting it to adjust so quick. I mean, that shift came fast and furious. But you did a good job. I mean, the people who were in place, they did a fantastic job. Look at Brooklyn there. Better process in place, made the conversion rate skyrocket. That's awesome. Jesse agrees. Jesse Suggs.
The other thing,
new last name,
that some of you, speaking of growing and comfort zone too, some really great things that happen for some of you is maybe you found yourself with a new team member.
Yeah,
absolutely. As well, you know, needing some help, needing some support, and you found yourself with a new team member. So that's awesome.
But there's something really fun to celebrate for the first time since we've been doing this. Drum roll, everybody. There's some big news for 2020. Jen, what is it?
For the first time in history of online sales, 50% online sales contribution.
Yes.
So
huge.
Yeah. So, you know, we look across the board at, you know, all of our clients' numbers and we compile them. And for the first time ever, we saw a 50%, actually slightly over 50% online sales contribution. Yeah. So let's just take a second.
Get the cowbell.
I mean, that is ginormous.
Yeah, that is huge. I think, you know, that's a collective average for the year. We even saw during COVID contribution going up to 60+%. So yes, we know it shifted. Like Vanessa said, we got a lot of walk-in traffic that's now online traffic. But the reality is that flow, you guys kept that moving forward and builders are taking advantage of it. So yes, cowbell all around. Kayla's showing it up there. Hey, Gabe, good to see you. Record sales. They've got Lasso and love it. That's good. Awesome agent teamwork. Guys, this is great. I love that you're sharing all this fun stuff. So Jen, as people said, how did 2020 go? Hey, it went great. It was busy. It was crazy. People want one of those things that we used to call vacations. You know, we want to take a little bit of a victory lap, but then we need to start thinking about what can we do moving on from here? What can we do in 2021? I mean, we're getting this question every time we jump on calls with people. Is like, what do you guys think is going to happen in 2021? So I think even before we get into that, we need to do a quick little honest evaluation of what's going on here, right?
Exactly. Well, you know, first and foremost, you know, but when you are thinking about setting your goals, you always want to, before you can figure out where you need to go, you need to look at where you've been, and doing a skills assessment evaluation is always the first starting point. And what do I mean by that? You know, there's a set of skills that as an online sales specialist, you really need to try to master. You know, video email, personalized video email, handoff process, making outbound calls, long-term follow-up. I mean, there's a list. You guys know what it is. So looking at that skill set and evaluating yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, 1, you should not be in this role anymore. 10, you have mastered it and you've just hit, you know, you've broken through the ceiling and you're just amazing. So that's the first step. And we've honestly had to cut some corners this year on some of our skill sets.
What? We got managers on this call, Jen. Calm down. What did you just say?
Okay, everybody, it's okay. Out of survival mode, right? Survival. We all went into survival mode. Everybody has the battle scars to prove it. But just to keep ourselves sane, you know, out of necessity, we had to cut some corners. So now we've got to really look back and see, what did we cut? What can we add back in that would make the most sense and have the biggest impact, most relevance and biggest impact?
Yeah, I think, you know, we talk about the perfect example is when we said, hey, there's a moratorium on prospecting. We're putting the kibosh on that. even today, I mean, we're starting to get to a place where you could start reaching out for coming soon communities or people who are on a priority interest list. But if the phone's ringing inbound so much that you forget how to make outbound calls, that's going to take a little bit of a relearning, jogging your memory to get that going again. So we're going to have to start changing some things up and just know that it's going to be a balance, and you're going to have to reevaluate almost every 2 weeks and say, where are we at now? What does it look like? What is traffic looking like? I mean, we're seeing people all night. Real quick, for those of you who are on right now, tell us, what does December feel like? Is it the same amount of busier, or less busy? Go ahead and chat that out. I just want to get a quick evaluation from all of you guys to see what you think. Faith says she has a need for speed. That's good. Just tell us what you're thinking. Busier, same amount, or less busy for December? Chat that out, because we're starting to see it, just a shift, and it's okay. I mean, things are going to ease off and then they'll pick back up. If we saw it like we saw last year, it was right after Christmas, it just started going crazy, right? So you've got to be prepared for that. And we also got to think about, what are those things that get us the results that are going to drive appointments and sales, right? Martha says busier than November. Brooklyn says busier, trying to keep up. Kayla says less busy. So it's a little bit all over the board, right? So that's good.
I mean, it's normal for it to ease up a little bit, right? So don't feel like, oh gosh, okay, things are we're spiraling. If you feel that there's a little bit of a shift. Totally normal for this time of year. So now is the time when it's good, if you do see a little slowdown, to be thinking about these things, be planning, be evaluating yourself. And online sales specialists, I'm speaking to you, prepare your hearts. I know you're tired. Like I know that you're tired. And so you might be thinking right now, Mike and Jen, like, really, I just need a break. Like, I don't want to think about those things right now.
Yeah.
I get it. Give yourself a break when you need it, but don't get complacent. Don't let grass grow under your feet.
Yeah.
Because like there's somebody that is waiting to take your place. I mean, seriously, Mike didn't know I was going to say this, but like there's a lot of people that want to be an online sales specialist right now.
Yeah.
Okay. It's high demand, as you've seen this year. So don't get complacent. There's always something that you can do better. Even if you feel like, hey, I got this. There's always something that you can do better. Listen to the coaching that's provided to you from your leadership. Listen, be open to mentoring, because you can always learn something from somebody.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And I know that, just going back to what you're saying about slow, and people are like, oh my gosh, it's slowing down.
Yeah.
Slowing down to normal. Exactly. That's what it is. It's just
slowing down. Yeah.
And so it feels different. All right. So now the big question on everybody's mind, they're sitting there going, well, what does 2021 look like? Mike and Jen, tell us, from the Do You Convert team, what are you guys seeing out there? What are you forecasting? Let's kind of talk through some of those things that we're going to be adjusting, some trends for 2021. Let's start first with thinking through processes, because processes can save us so much energy, time, and efficiency, and everything comes along with it. A lot of times we used to have maybe a couple of processes that were in place. What are we having to do now?
Well, back when I was an online sales specialist, you'd have like one process for non-responsive leads, right? And you'd have maybe another process for a specific lead source. Guys, now we got to think about processes that are community specific in some cases. Yeah. Because, like we're seeing, Mike, you might be completely sold out waiting for a new phase to be released. Maybe you've had a cap put on sales at a specific community. We're not going to put those people on a short-term follow-up process to try to engage them to get an appointment. Right. That doesn't make sense. So you have to really understand what's happening at each of your communities, talk with your sales leadership and on-site teams to really understand, hey, I'm still getting leads. What am I doing with them? Like, we need a different process. Or, hey, marketing, like I'm still getting a ton of leads. Do we need to slow things down here if we can't set appointments right now or sales?
Well, it's interesting to think about because we didn't have to used to be so granular. It was like, is the
Right.
community open or is it closed? Like, is it coming soon?
Right.
Or are we
Is it
actively
active?
selling now? It's like we're in a lot of in-betweens, or some of these
Yeah.
communities, like you said, they've restricted sales. So online sales is needing some more processes that help just make your life easier. Because it doesn't make sense. Like I heard the other day, someone had like 180 people on a reservation list, a priority interest list. They had 78 homes to sell. They're still pumping leads in there and they're overwhelmed. And I said, well, what are you guys doing on a follow-up process? Have you changed or stopped that, sales automation? They go, no. So you still got people saying, hey, if you have any questions or you'd like to set up a time to come visit this community, please email or call. And it's like, no, we got to stop that because you're setting bad expectations for your customers.
That's such a good point.
Think more granularly in everything that you're doing, right?
Great advice. Absolutely.
What about those build times? Oh my goodness. We've been hearing crazy stuff. We're out 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 10 months.
Closings in 2022.
Yeah, that's nuts. So online sales is going, wait, what am I setting appointments for? What are they setting appointments for? We still have to keep this momentum going. And again, we don't know how fast this could shift in a different direction.
Yeah.
So yes, you're going to have to develop some new language and dialogues around that, but you will have to deal with the delayed build times. Okay, I want to see what people are saying. Diane's saying we've got job starts in March, right? Oh, wow. Can't start some new stuff till the fall from Amy. Woo. Running out of things. Kayla, that's a good point. Run out of things to sell, but the leads keep coming in. And again, that requires online sales to shift.
Yes.
And adjust, right? So you're going to have to do that in 2021. What about staffing, Jen?
Yeah. So, you might have found yourself with a new teammate. Yay, right? This is a good thing. Okay. Anybody who thinks it's not, it's a good thing, right? So there is nothing better than to train somebody on what you do and mentor somebody else. It immediately causes you to up your game.
Oh yeah.
When you have to
get your stuff in order, get your room clean.
Get it together, people, right? Because you now have this new person that is looking at you as the example. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Walk the walk, talk the talk. If you're having them listen to your calls, this is a great time to really hone in and polish up those skills. But this is, when I was looking at this, I think we've got like 30 people right now going through the Fast Start program. There's like so many people that are coming into this role. I get so excited because this is new champions in the online sales world. So just remember that if you find yourself with a new team member, this is your chance to bring them on board and show them the ropes and, teach them everything there is to know and be that example. That's exciting.
That's a good point. Nothing helps you up your game like having to show you someone else how to do it. I remember doing that when I was in the role and I had to hire 2 people to take my spot. And I was like, man, I really wasn't doing that. I should have been doing that, because you're setting the example. Yeah. How many of you guys who has a new team member? I want to see, chat that out. Let us know if you've built your team or had a team member added recently. I always love to see who's growing the teams out there. Okay. Lead generation. People say, are we really going to see that? A lot of you guys out there have doubled or tripled lead gen. Are we going to see that same type of volume in 2021? I think the short answer is probably. I think it will still be high. I don't think it will be as desperate or frantic as we saw really over the last 4 months of just people just give me anything that you got. I think the dust is going to settle. You're going to deal with some timelines out there that are a little bit different, but you're still going to have a lot of people to manage. Again, that means you're going to have to, 1, most likely grow the team or shift resources. And 2, process driven, efficiency driven. Anything you're touching or sending more than once that could be a template or something that could plug into a process, the more streamlined that you can get, that's how you deal with the high demand that's going to stay in place, most likely through the spring. You know, that's really where we're looking at it. So it's, it's an interesting little place. I mean, again, we can't forecast everything, but we can definitely see the trend lines and where they're going, and definitely the fact that we have a lack of supply. So,
and an online sales specialist, if you are finding yourself like, man, I keep getting this question, I don't know necessarily how to handle this, you know, this keeps coming up. Like, you don't have to figure this out by yourself. Go to your leadership and let them know what you're hearing and ask for help, and or marketing. Like, if you need some sort of consistent messaging around something, don't make up stuff or like try to feel like you've got to figure this out. Which, you know, management and oversight and support of this role in 2021 is going to need to be stepped up as well.
Yeah.
You know, we've really seen a lot this year. Like, okay, we're growing our team. Now, do we need a designated manager, you know, for this role? Yes. You know, or do we need an online sales to move up to a lead, you know, a lead online sales specialist role? Yes, because as we need new processes, all these things we've just been talking about, new processes, new scripts, you know, how to hurdle these new things and shift. We're going to need, these people are going to need help. They're going to need support. They're going to need to understand how to do this. And so it's not going to be okay to just check in periodically or just look at the numbers. We're really going to need to go deep with our online sales specialists, managers listening, and really make sure you're sitting down with them, asking good questions, making sure that you're going over some of these things that we're talking about today.
Yeah, I mean, we see it so many times, especially right now when the program from a numbers perspective looks like we're all rock stars. Yay!
Yay!
Best.
Which you are. You are.
You are the best, but managers go, they're fine over there.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. Nothing to see. They're superstars. Way to go. But they need your help. They need your support. They need that love and attention. Because, you know, there's a lot of people who are starting to deal with overwhelm. They're starting to deal with being busy all the time. A little bit of burnout's creeping in. So we've got to do things to make sure we got that pressure, you know, relieve just a little bit. And that can come with support. That can come with just you sitting down with someone and saying, how can I help you today? What are you thinking about going in the future? So be proactive. That communication goes both ways. Online sales managers, take some time to sit down. We're online sales we're really good at going, everything's great. We're fine. Right. It's all good. And
don't look under my hood. All engines running smoothly over here.
That's right. Okay, so get involved. That's what we're going to see in 2021. More involvement, making sure we understand that online sales program inside and out. So I want to shift gears here just for this last little point. And if you guys have any questions too, I love the chat. I'm watching that over here frequently. You guys are doing great. So many awesome folks tuning in. Thank you so much. We want to talk about numbers because people are asking us, hey, Mike and Jen, how do we forecast 2021? What kind of conversion rate should we look at? Even Jen and I were talking about this. She's like, what are we going to do for goal setting? Like, are we going to plan for 2021 off of 2020? And I was like, kind of, not really. Let's talk through some of that stuff. And we've got a little bit of advice for you guys if you're going through goal setting for this year and looking at your conversion rates and what you're going to get. Because you're going to have a lot of managers saying, hey, we were at 50% contribution last year. It better be 50% this year.
Yeah.
And we go, I mean, you never know.
Yeah. What we call at the start of this, we said when we started to see the numbers just be wonky, we were like, okay, this is COVID conversions.
That's right.
You know, it's like you don't want Corona metrics, right? You don't want to benchmark based on such a wackadoo, you know, market.
Right.
So yeah, you know, when Mike and I were talking about this, we're like, what do we do? And, you know, I think we think realistically taking, you know, a hybrid approach, you know, looking back at what you did in 2019, what your numbers were in 2020, and coming up with a hybrid, you model.
Like a blended average, I
Blended
think
average. Yeah.
a good way to look at it. Because the question is, where do you go? If you're at 50%,
Right.
if you're at 68% contribution, what's the increase? There may not be an increase. You may see a reduction.
Right.
I think setting the realistic expectations on that
Mhm.
blended average is a great place to start. But here's the big thing, Jen, and everybody else listening to this, reevaluate it every 3 months.
Oh,
Like, don't
yes.
set your goals right now and say, that's it. That's 2021.
Yeah. Yeah,
It could
exactly.
look completely different in March, could look completely different in June.
Right.
So just reevaluate that.
Mhm.
Here's the thing. Whatever you do, higher quality appointments become way more valuable this next year. So
Yes.
because you got a higher quality of appointments, you may have a lower volume of appointments. And there's not anything necessarily wrong with that. I'm not saying hang on to your leads for too long. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be encouraging the appointment process. However, if we're in places where we're sold out, backlogged, limited sale capacity, et cetera, the online sales specialist, listen closely. Everybody say I'm listening.
This is
Shout it out.
really important, guys, because this is different, a little different than the norm.
Let me know that you're listening. Let me see eyeball emojis. I need to see those coming through. Your role takes a shift and it becomes so valuable when you can help qualify these online leads just a little bit further.
Yes.
And so we know we've got the best of the best going out on site until you hear otherwise, until sales slow down a little bit, until stuff changes, you might have to adjust that qualification. So we really do just want to encourage you that those numbers may be shifting and adjusting every 90 days. Right?
But Mike, it's hard for us to undo that, reflex of we got to get the appointment. We got to get the appointment. We got to get the appointment. This is hard. This is going to be an adjustment. It
is. And I want you to know that it's okay. Yeah. Like it's okay to adjust. Remember where your value comes from. Right. Leads are great, but only appointments and sales have true value. Mm-hmm. And high quality appointments become even more valuable this next year. So when you look at, you're setting your numbers and you're going through this and you're adjusting your metrics for next year, just remember, if you're at 50% contribution or above, those numbers below and leading up to it can be somewhat flexible.
Yeah.
Maybe you're at a 20% conversion from appointment to sale. Maybe that's a 17%. Maybe it's a 30%. Right. That doesn't matter as much as long as you get that contribution there. On the higher level, there's nothing to worry about. And so I think a lot of times we get hyper focused sometimes on the wrong number. Yeah. Lead to appointment. That's great. But again, if the quality needs to be higher, that potentially drops a little bit lower. So yeah, put quality. A little to your numbers, right, Jen?
Quality over quantity. And it's going to be a little bit of a shift, but like Martha Clifford yesterday was talking on the Lasso webinar that we were on, and she was saying that, she's had to shift that and really focus on the best quality appointments getting out there. Your job, online sales specialist, is to get them down to select one. And if it means you have to navigate them to somewhere else or maybe not send them out just yet, it's okay. You are the expert new home specialist for your community, for your company. So own that and don't be afraid to say that. But it's also going to cause you to have to be definitely more of that farmer and cultivator mentality. You're going to have to really work the leads, a little bit differently.
This is, I love the feedback coming in here. You got Martha talking a little bit about this. You got Brooklyn, right? It's best for the customers too. Right. Yes. I think time is a limited resource. And you think online sales is stressed and overwhelmed. So is on-site sales. And again, don't take our word for it. Talk to your manager, talk to your leadership. They may say, hey, keep this stuff flowing for X community, but this other community, we can slow it down a little bit.
That's a good point. Is that it's specific, again, going back, it's specific to communities. So
Amy, that's a good point. It's scary to say, but not everyone is our buyer right now. That's exactly right, which is such a odd place to be, right? It's such an odd place to be, but you know what? We are fortunate to be in this business. We could be in the tour bus industry. I'm trying to think of other terrible industries to be in right now, which we're not. That doesn't mean that still there are some things that could be stressing you out, stressing your team out. And it's just a different set of challenges. But we want, as Do You Convert to the world, we just want to say we're so thrilled to see so many hardworking online sales specialists knocking it out of the park.
Yes.
We appreciate you. We are grateful for what you're doing. The Nationals came out with the silver awards. We got a lot of great online sales specialists up for awards this year. It's pretty fun to watch. Jen, what are you looking forward to most in 2021? And that's a question I'll ask everybody out there. What are you most looking forward to in 2021? Chat it out. And it can be personal, it can be business, but what are you looking forward to? Jen, what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to, like, I feel like after this year, like, we can accomplish anything. You know, like, it was just so crazy. So I'm just looking forward to seeing like what we're going to do next, like what's going to come our way, and how, as an industry and as a community, this online sales community that we have, how are we going to tackle it? And I'm just looking forward to just seeing how we do it. I think it's going to be cool.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I mean, here's the thing. This is what we have right now. I'm looking forward to in 2021. We've got resources, we've got budgets, we've got opportunity. We're the shining light as an industry, and to everything else that's going on. Positive news in a world full of, not so positive stuff. And guys, there's a vaccine is coming. And we don't have to get hyper focused on that, but that's going to change things back. By the summertime, we're going to be looking at a different set of opportunities, right?
Yeah.
So it's not here yet. That's why they're going to keep calling you. They're used to hearing you can't build anything for 4 months. So they're going to keep calling you. They're going to keep emailing you. They're going to keep chatting you. So you're going to be what Seth Godin refers to as a linchpin. You can't pull the linchpin out of a chain or this thing falls apart. So you'll continue to be a linchpin. We love that this position is really stepping up to the game this year. And we are just appreciating all of you. I love it. I see the stuff coming and growing. The team, Diana's looking for a week off. Looking forward to a week off. Tashiana wants this summer. That's right, Tashi. Hey, we appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, always we'll be checking in on the podcast coming up. So check out Market Proof Marketing. Be sure to sign up for the newsletter on doyouconvert.com. We'll be trying to do these a little bit more frequently in the first of the year, making sure we're getting on a monthly basis to Do You Convert Live. Jen has the opt-in that's coming out almost every other month about right now. So we want to keep on pumping the good information out to you. And if you've got anything fun to share with us, be sure to drop us a line. And we hope you all have a happy holidays. Enjoy your time with your family. Stay safe.
Thanks, guys.
Hopefully you'll put an out of office on at least 1 or 2 days this month.
Yes.
Good to see all of you guys. Smash the smile button. We'll see you soon.